Bom dia, Portugal!
In Portugal, there's a YouTube show full of fun facts you need to know. Carl rings the bell and the members show to the GMP morning show. Featured guests will come and they will blow your mind. The audience will do so in kind. The little vanity mixed with some insanity on the morning show with GMP.
Good morning, Portugal, and I'd like to welcome you to another fantastic day.
Hey, Gumpers.
Bom dia, alegria, Munson here with Good Morning Portugal show, a live stream and podcast. And look, he's back! T-Duck with Dad. I've put Dad Cokes. Oh, if you prefer Pepsi, Dad Pepsis. Dad jokes, that should say. Ouch, T-Duck. And the lies we tell our kids as well. So we'll come to those and we'll have a giggle with those with Filomena, who's joining us this morning. Before we get started, let's say hello to everyone who's here already. Old Guy in Europe. Episode number 5. Has it been published yet? I think it's live, isn't it? It's live and ready on your channel. Do let us know. James, bom dia, Gumpers. Feliz sexta, todos. Quem tem feito. You've got a mindful moment and a dad joke for us as well. Fantastic. And yeah, T-Duck was in at 8:54 with an hola, bom dia, alegria, Gumpers. We've got Antonio, of course, with us this morning. Antonio F. He is like a teaching assistant to Filomena when Filomena is with us, teaching us about the Portuguese language and culture. She'll be on it in just a moment. And João Ernesto with a Good Morning Portugal as well. So good morning to you. How's it going? Seeing in beautiful stereo. Who is what? JP. Who is Thunderduck? That would take far too long to explain to you the magnificence of Senor Pato this morning. JP here on a train heading to Vienna. Weather is really? Weather is amazing today. It'll clear up soon here on the Silver Coast. It was a very muggy day yesterday. I think we're in for a nice weekend. We've got sardines to eat over in Celio de Porto this weekend, and a certain England team. Well, I say certain. They don't play in a very certain way, but there is certainly a fixture this coming Sunday when England, of course, play Spain in the final of Euro 24. And don't worry, the English fans are training as we speak. Here we go. Ole. Oh, whoops. Okay. and one more video. Back to the Iberian Peninsula. Filomena, watch this. I will bring you on after this. This is the way to start your day and to live life to the fullest. But I'm wondering, is this Portugal? Have you seen this video before, everybody? Oh, hold on a minute. Oh, yeah, there we go. Look at this guy go. He's had 4 shredded wheat, I think. Look at him. He started with a cartwheel. He's loving his work. You see, I'm thinking there's a calçada, certain sort of pattern going on there. It could be Portugal, could it not? Can anyone tell me? That is living life to the fullest, is it not? Let's give her a nice big round of applause and bring her onto the screen and give it to that fella. Filomena, everybody!
Olá! Olá, bom dia a todos. Feliz sexta-feira.
Feliz sexta, tudo bem? Como estás?
Tudo bem, obrigada. E contigo, Carlitos?
Muito bem, um pouco cansada because of a certain press conference. Cansado. I'm stuck in, my mind has made that connection now, and I continue to say it in the incorrect way. Thank goodness you're here. Now, actually, on that note, Filomena, I was thinking, there comes a certain point in your Portuguese where, just like I just did there, and I didn't do it on purpose, that was a genuine mistake, and it's a habit now, because I don't think it's the first time. And it might be a morning where we share, it's an amnesty on bad habits that some of us might have developed, and things that we say and we think, hold on, is that even right? So if you want to hand in any wrongdoing with the Portuguese language this morning, there will be an amnesty, and you can ask. It's no blame culture this morning. It's like the pilot's code. If something goes wrong, they rather than keep it a secret and let it fester, they admit it, and then something can be done about it. That's what we're going to do this morning. If anyone's got any bad habits with Portuguese or things they keep saying they're not sure about, you can check it out with Filomena this morning. Is that okay?
Yes, you get to a point in your Portuguese language learning where you wish you didn't know so much.
Okay, yes. So this is the thing. Then it's not. That isn't something I made up. This is a known thing, is it? In language learning generally, I guess.
Yes, because you realize that you have been making a mistake for a while, and then you don't want to make the mistake anymore, obviously, and but it's fine. I mean, we learn with our mistakes throughout life, and so there's no problem about it. If you make a mistake, no problem.
Well, there is a confessional tone and atmosphere this morning. If you want to go even further and admit there is a certain thing in Portuguese culture you're not entirely comfortable with, like how de lol, how de lol, yes or no. This was on the webinar, not the webinar. We did a fantastic webinar last night. Well, I say we. Karina was amazing. Karina Bejiga from Raisin Pelicano did a very thorough step-by-step on buying a house in Portugal. And it was a real contrast of atmospheres because that was very lawyerly or lawyer-like and very particular. And then we went to the Dream Team, which was absolutely buzzing last night. And the question I asked all the Dream Team panelists, Filomena, was Pau de Lol, yes or no? And not even all Portuguese people like Pau de Lol. Could you explain this delight to us and why it is that some people might draw the line on this particular treat among confectionery?
First of all, let's say that there is not just one pão de ló. There
it depends.
It depends, as usual. It depends. The picture that you have, pão de ló de ovar, probably.
Yes.
But for example, here we have when I say here in Coimbra, Miranda do Corvo, we have a different pão de ló that is a bit drier than that.
Thank you.
Okay, so our pão de ló is not as it doesn't look like that. It's a dry cake. But I love both.
Do you? Interesting. And have you always loved both?
Well,
I'm thinking I might one day, because I've got this takes my confession into another level, because it was given to us by our neighbor, who happens to be a very important politician and local dignitary here in San Martino. So he gave us, he and his wife gave us a pão de ló from Alfezarão, which is one of the notable capitals of pão de ló production.
Yeah, that's a good one, I'm sure.
It is. And they gave it to us. And you know how sometimes Portuguese people give you something and they're smiling? And you're thinking, what? Why are you smiling? And then it was one of those. It was one of those situations.
Aren't Portuguese people always smiling?
No, it's true, but there are different kinds of smiles. There's the genuine smile of, here's a lovely gift for you. And it's a beautiful Portuguese day. And here's an expression of our Portuguese culture.
There is another one.
There is another one. Yeah, maybe have a finger on the chin or like looking away while smiling. It's like they might walk away giggling. And it was the latter. And later on, of course, they say, well, how did you like the cake?
So he was expecting you not to like the cake.
Yeah. And I really liked receiving it. And I was delighted. And we had exchanged Christmas gifts over a garden wall. And they knew why I knew why they were giggling. And it's because if there's no explanation or no sense that this is going to be a very different experience, it looks as though people give you the pão de ló so that you can actually finish it off yourself in the oven for another half an hour, right? Because it's like really soft and sloppy in the middle. And that's what you're saying is it's only some of them, right? The Alfezarão one is truly sloppy in the middle. And I'm guessing this is, you know how some cooking, some recipes have actually come from mistakes, haven't they? And I think maybe this was a sponge cake that wasn't taken to its full potential. Let's call it that.
Yeah.
And someone said, "Well, we'll eat it anyway. The king has arrived. We've got to serve him the cake. Pretend that's how we do it here." And so everyone kept a straight face as they served the king the sloppy sponge cake. And the king said, and then it went quiet, didn't it, in the room? "Sir, how do you like the pain de l'eau?" And thankfully, nobody's head was cut off because he said, "I love it. This is fantastic." And then from thereafter, it had to be served like that. I think that's probably the story behind it.
Maybe.
Yeah.
But yes, as I said, there are different kinds. It depends.
It
It
depends.
depends on the
Classic.
area.
Classic.
It depends on the area where you are in Portugal. But here, for example, it's completely dry.
Is it?
And for example, my husband like to eat a slice with cheese, for
Oh,
example.
does he?
A slice
That's a
of
nice
pão de
twist.
ló with a slice of cheese, and he loves that.
From Rabasal, which is his favorite cheese. Is that
From
right?
From Rabasal, usually we have lots from Rabasal at home,
Yeah.
but also any other. Queijo de Serra, for example, from Serra da Estrela. That's my favorite.
Yes, of course, of course. Wow, wow. And my mind has gone immediately to the tour and walking into the tourist center at the tour and actually being confronted by the aroma of Serra da Estrela cheeses and sausages up there and knives. You can buy a knife up there for some reason. Oh, you need a little pocket knife to cut the sausage and the cheese with, don't you? While you're
You
out.
always need, yes, you always need a little knife to cut some sausage.
Mystery solved. Another, and so more help available this morning. We have dealt with Paul Delol, and you can go over to the Portugal Club and vote on that. The votes are coming in. It's a Marmite thing here in Portugal. I'm sure of that. We've got a few events from Bairandi, and we'll come back to those later. We're going to look at Peter Bleach's bench. He's been busy.
I have seen, yeah.
It's amazing, isn't it? What's possible as well over at Pete's. I mean, a renovation from a few rocks in central Portugal. It's amazing.
With Pete, anything is possible.
Isn't it just? And we will see the evidence of this a little bit later on. But let's make sure we've said hello to everybody and find out what questions are coming up in the chat this morning, Filomena. Actually, no, before we do that, I'm glad to see and hear that you're well. And you have been busy. Well, you're always busy. Where have you been just most recently?
Well, I have been busy with some friends visiting me in Portugal, which I'm always happy when
Yes,
the friends that I have in Europe visit me. And so I had Sabina and Barbara from Slovenia, and they spent a few days with me here in Miranda do Corvo, and we visited the University of Coimbra, for example. We visited Tshirt villages, and then they went to Porto to work for a few days. They had a project in Porto for about 3 or 4 days. Then they came back, and we went on with our visits. And then some days later, some friends from Turkey, Shirin, Akan, Yiğit, so they came from Turkey to spend a week with me. So they went home. They arrived home yesterday. They left from Lisbon at 11 p.m. on Wednesday. Amazing. And they arrived home at 10 a.m. yesterday.
And people have obviously been having a great time with you, doing lots of lovely things, mainly in central Portugal. Got a little bit of video of a deer, haven't we, running across the street. So what did you show them?
Yes, we were driving to see Telesnal. You know Telesnal, the Tshirt village in Lausanne. And we were passing the village of Casal Novo when I was telling them in these mountains, there are lots of deers and wild boars. So be attentive. Maybe you see one. And then Hakan, all of a sudden, he said, "Oh, I saw one. So I stopped the car. And then I told them, be absolutely 100% quiet. You can't say anything because otherwise you will scare them away, of course. Yes. But let's go slowly and quietly and try to see the others. Because when they start crossing the road, they were crossing the road. And when they start crossing the road, of course, there are a few of them crossing the road. So, so we were waiting. The video that I sent you, Hakan was the one who caught that deer because we were waiting for them, and all of a sudden, one of them crossed the road and went up, and Hakan got an excellent video of him.
Right, we'll have a look at that now. So if everyone could be quiet and pretend we are there near Telejnal, and we're going to go from the craziness of Pont de l'Eau and the excitement that we've generated this morning already, and it's a roller coaster ride of emotions. Now we're going to be quiet, everybody, and you at the back as well. Please be quiet, otherwise Filomena will be speaking to you after class. And let's have a little look in the bushes here, in one of the windy mountain roads of central Portugal. It's so beautiful, isn't it? And the way it goes like a gazelle through there. And what always occurs to me, Philomena, in these situations is you're driving through those lovely windy roads where it takes 20 minutes to go just a couple of miles, doesn't it? But that's you're going up and round the hills. It's quite extraordinary in that landscape.
The landscape, yes, the landscape is amazing.
Yeah, and you realise, don't you, that it's full of life in there, in that forest there. The deer, the boar, and actually we've got a picture of you and a boar. Now the boar is not on a windy road; it actually made its way.
It's in the village.
Is this normal then? They go and see people. They go and hang out in the village.
Yes. So the wild boar was in the village of Telejnal. Shirin was a bit afraid when she saw we were walking down the village, and all of a sudden, from a narrow alley, came this wild boar, and then she was a bit scared. But it was all alone, so the mum was not around, so it was okay.
It's the mums, yes.
Yeah, if the mum was around, it would be a bit more dangerous, but it was alone, so it was okay.
I can see a Disney movie here of a Portuguese wild boar who loves to be with people, and his mum says, "Look, don't you dare go into the village. Your father."
Nobody's going to harm him. No.
That's right. Well, you say that. let me move on to what culinary treats you shared.
Not in Telejnal, no, not in Telejnal, okay. Because once Michael is watching, and I'm sure he remembers when we went to Telejnal, we saw three wild boars in Telejnal when we went to visit.
Really, running through the village.
Yeah.
Okay, and that's when it starts to get a bit scarier, isn't it? When they're in a gang, and then you're
but they live and let live. Yeah,
well, that's the way to do it. That is the way to do it. So, what did you eat with your visitors then, if not javali?
No, definitely not javali,
right.
Because my Turkish friends are Muslim, so they don't eat pork, right?
Of course, right?
Yeah. So we ate lots of fish, lots and lots of fish.
Yes.
Different kinds of fish, and also some veal, and yeah. So we ate different kinds of things, but not, for example, not the typical dish from here, from Miranda do Corvo. We have chanfana, but chanfana, although it's goat, it's cooked in wine, so not possible.
Again, not good for the
not possible.
Visitors. Wow.
No.
Okay.
So, but it was okay. We had lots of other things, especially fish, and it's not hard to find fish in Portugal, is it?
No, fair enough. Because we've talked before about vegetarians, vegans, and so on, but I don't think that's ever come up. If you have Muslim visitors coming to Portugal, it wasn't difficult to cater for your friends.
No, it wasn't difficult.
Excellent, good to know that. Right, bon dia gumpers from Michael, as you said there. Antonio, good morning to you. I think Gemini has a greeting for you. She does, with an interesting spelling of you. I think the Greek spelling.
I'm used to different spelling and pronunciations of my name. I'm used to it.
Fair enough.
Bon dia.
Bon dia, Lady Filomena.
Bon dia, Lord Antonio.
Very good. Joan is saying good morning as well. Bon dia todos this morning. And unlearning, going back to where we started, any confessions you've got about where your Portuguese has got into some bad habits, share them with us this morning. I've got one to share. Unlearning is far more difficult than learning correctly in the first place. Yeah, like la gauche. So finding the balance is key. Absolutely right. And you were right, T-Duck. Pal de Lo was a sponge cake. And thank you for the dad jokes and the lies we tell our kids, which we'll come back to and have a giggle with a little bit later on. Milane is here. Keeping away. We missed you yesterday. Today, as Milane, myself, good morning to you, Milane. Good to see you here. And
Bon dia.
Antonio and James as well. And bon dia, Milane, yourself. That's a dad joke. I'm hungry. Go on, James. You can finish that off. So here's the first question for you. Cultural, not linguistic, but sidewalk and pavement conventions. I was wondering, is there a side of the street that is customary to walk on? I was raised in... Wow. You had quite the education, I think, here, Joan. I was raised in school hallways. Don't run! To walk on the right. In Portugal, I never seem to be where I'm supposed to be. So Joan finding herself in a contraflow situation with other pedestrians. What is the customary thing to do here?
Well, in Portugal, you should face the traffic. So if you are walking in a street or in a road where there are no sidewalks, so no pavement, then you should walk on the left side, right? Because you are facing the car that is coming instead of having the car from your back that you can't see, isn't it?
Yes. Okay.
You see what I mean? So you walk on the left, because people drive on the right side.
Yes. Yes.
So if the cars come from the right side of the road, we walk on our left so that we can face the car that is coming. Do you see what I mean?
I do, absolutely. That's from a road safety point of view, isn't it?
Yeah, so, because at least we can see the car. If you walk in the same direction as the car is coming behind you and you don't see the car. So you always have to face the car.
Unless you're on a blind bend, and then you have to cross over, don't you, so that you might be seen, thereby risking yourself. It's a bit of a you have to make a calculation. Now, I think what Joan is talking about is on the pavements. This is the convention among fellow pedestrians. Should you observe the same code?
If there are pavements, you can walk on the right or on the left. But
that's chaos. I mean, that's chaos for somebody with
you go.
For your OCD pedestrian, that is going to be difficult, all right? And I know some people want to be able to walk and know which side to be on.
Straight on.
Also, okay, but yeah, right. Okay. But this is, I mean, what could happen here if we reframe it? This is a way to make new Portuguese friends as you bump into them on the.
You keep saying "scoop."
And muito prazer, scoop, as you make it. But I'm guessing here there isn't a convention with this, and I think it's like self-organization, and it will range from chaos.
Yeah, my assistant is already. My assistant is already explaining.
Antonio, there are no mandatory rules there's no decree law yet on this regarding walking on the sidewalk. People used to recommend when walking on the side of the street to face the traffic. So that's in relation to the traffic, but in relation to other pedestrians, I know this drives some people mad because you don't know which side of the pavement to be on, and people are stopping, especially tourists, aren't they? They suddenly stop. You're like, ah! And then the other thing on pavements is smokers and vapors who I was sat on the seawall just enjoying the view and the fresh sea air at San Martinho de Porto the other day. And an old gentleman, and I think years ago he would have had a pipe, but he had a vape. And he took a very big...
right next to you.
Yes, and then he expelled. It was like the
on
cruise
your face.
Ships. Yeah, the cruise ships by Santa Apollonia, is it in Lisbon?
It was like a cruise ship.
He should have had as he expelled this cloud. I thought I was in a disco. I thought the lasers were going to come on and the music was going to start any minute, Filomena. And it had the strangest aroma. It was like oaty. It was oaty. And so that's another thing when you're on the pavements. You may have to get used to a huge a cloud of toxic gases being expelled by the person near you. So yeah, I think Joan is wanting to know if there is a convention. I don't think there is, and just to be considerate, you're going to have to make your own rules, I think.
Yeah, usually, I mean, when we walk on a pavement, then if you see someone coming, one of you has to go the other side, isn't it?
That can take a long time if people go the same way.
Yes, yes. Sometimes it happens. Sometimes you go, it's like a dance there.
Sorry, this is not helping. I'm thinking Joan is probably thinking, I can't bear it. I need to know. I need to know which side. But no.
You can have a flag to the left, please. To the left, please.
T-shirts. Let's get some T-shirts made. Please pass on this side of me.
Yeah, with an arrow.
I'm sorry. We're making a joke of this, Joan, and I think for somebody who is concerned about this would be quite challenging. And it's one of those things as well, isn't it? And this is another thing. This is one of those subtle things about, asking people about the Portuguese people about the culture. It's like, well, why would you need to know that? I mean, that doesn't. You
No,
must.
For
That must
me,
occur to you.
it was never
Exactly.
a problem. It was
Exactly.
never a problem for me.
Yes.
But
Yeah.
well,
Yeah.
it might be a problem for someone else. Yes.
How often, Filomena, do you think to yourself inside, why is this person asking this question? Why do they need to know this? Because that must happen.
It's a different culture, so it's natural.
is.
It's
Yeah.
natural.
Yeah. Okay. Well, Joan, we've had a lot of fun with that, and I didn't mean to make light of a situation that might be challenging for you. You're on your own, though. She's on her own, right? You're gonna have to make it up and make new friends. I think there. Tom West has just joined us with a bon dia as well, and I haven't said hello to Jordan. Good morning to you. Is that Jordan or Jordan? There. What are you doing? And how many days till Christmas? I'm not sure. I think it sounds to me like you're a Christmas fan, and we will do a
long time and a lot of parties till Christmas.
Well, that's the way to look at it, especially if you're Portuguese. So there you go. Jordan, it's a long time till Christmas. And tell us more. Where are you? And what brings you here to the Good Morning Portugal show? Yeah, Joan was wondering. I'm never. The concluding part of the question was, I never seem to be where I'm supposed to be. We could offer some reassurance. You're always where you're meant to be.
That's right.
In somewhere
where you are, it's the perfect spot.
There you go, Joan. However, in the car park of a supermarket, which I believe transcends the highway laws, please observe the arrows, because that has been an awkward situation for me from time to time. I'm thinking to myself, well, I'll just turn left here and have that parking space. That can cause quite the consternation here in
You
Portugal.
have the little arrows on the pavement, on the floor, and so you follow the arrows.
Yes. Okay. And I didn't realize how important that was to Portuguese people until I didn't do it a couple of times. Yes. I was told. And actually, here's another thing, Filomena. Road rage. I have experienced it once or twice here in Portugal, and it's women. It was women. It's always women who give me a hard time on the roads.
Yeah, well.
Yeah, well, thank you for your support.
No, I mean, no. I think women and men alike.
Well, statistically for me, it's the ladies who have given me the toughest time on the roads. 106. There you go, Jordan. No sooner asked than answered. 160 days, 166 days until Christmas. We're about as far from Christmas as calendarily possible. And Milan, by the way, is now thinking, "Oh, bring on Christmas! Stop it!" And I made that parking lot mistake. You see, never again. Opposite of making friends on the pavements, making enemies in the supermarket car parks of Portugal. There,
it's a lot worse than just being on the wrong side of the pavement. It's a lot worse to be in the wrong lane.
It's like being on the wrong side of history, and it's a memory that will not be easily undone. Me and Michael. Counselling service for that is available after the show. So we're not getting many questions this morning, are we? We've had a weather report. We want some questions from you about the Portuguese language and the Portuguese culture. Are there any key themes at the moment among your students, Filomena? Of course, because you teach one-to-one online and in person. What are the common things for you at the moment with people, or what are people struggling with?
Well, yesterday, for example, it was again the isto, isso, aquilo, and the este, esse, aquele.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. So
And there's
the old
nothing. I mean, the only thing to do with that is to keep practicing, right?
yes, you keep practicing until you try to understand um, that it's not. I mean, you have to understand that when you use isto, isso, or aquilo, you are not referring to any gender. So it's just this, that, or that over there, and you are not referring to anything in specific. So you don't have a noun with it. You don't say this book, this flower, this city, or that car, that house. You just say this or that. So you can say this is beautiful, that is very expensive, and you are not using any noun, any specific noun. So that is just isto, isso, or aquilo. Then
Thank you.
the rest of them, they have a masculine or a feminine form if you do refer to the noun. So if you say, for example, this house, you have to say esta casa. Esta casa, this house, because house, casa, is a feminine word, right? Or if you say this car, este carro. This car is coming the wrong way. Este carro
Yes.
está a vir de forma errada.
Yes.
So, yeah, that is este carro, esta casa. If the car is near the other person that you are speaking to, you can say esse carro, that car. And then if the car is further away, you can say aquele carro é do Carl Munson.
Here he comes again, driving the wrong way around the supermarket car park. Yes.
Yeah. So,
Right. Thank you for
so
that.
there are no questions at all.
I want to continue with the ISO and ISTO and so on in just a moment, but something awful has just happened and has been brought to my attention. This show is unofficial because I forgot to play Filomena's jingle. It's true, isn't it? I did. Oh my goodness! We'll come back to the questions.
Owen, poor Owen.
Okay, all right. All rise.
Filomena Friday. I need to learn the language to put me at ease. Filomena Friday. It's gonna take time learning Portuguese.
Oh yeah.
Filomena Friday. I get confused nearly every day. Filomena Friday. How do I know which verb is okay? Filomena Friday. Practice those words so loud and clear. Filomena Friday.
On a Filomena Friday.
It's a day of cheer.
Woo!
Filomena Friday. Tripsforbrits@gmail.com.
Oh yes, I'm so sorry.
Now it's official.
It is now official. It is now official, and we can go back to the questions then. Actually, before we go to James's, thank you very much. Yeah, I think some people figuring, so we can ask Filomena questions then. Yes, that's why it's called a Q&A. Right, okay, very good. Portuguese language and culture, walking on the right side of the pavement, for example, as came up earlier on. Now, yesterday, I went to get a key. Shav, see? Shav.
Shav.
Yes, Shav. And I went in and I'm thinking to myself, this is what goes through the heads of foreigners, Filomena. Right, I need to go and do this chore. How do I say? I was like, good. And I was in quite a few different shops yesterday with all sorts of different products and vocabulary. And I thought to myself, I know what one of each is because that's really useful when you're ordering cakes or anything inside a cafe. Uma de cada. Really useful phrase.
Yeah.
But if I'm holding this up and I want one of these cut, I found out yesterday, and can you tell me if this is absolutely correct? Desses, one of these, is that right?
But you wanted another key, right?
Sim.
You wanted to make a key, to have a key made, but the word chave,
yes,
is it masculine or feminine? You always have to think about masculine or feminine in Portuguese.
Right.
The word chave ends with an E, so you don't have a clue.
Thank you.
You don't have a clue
I'm
because
guessing masculine.
No.
Oh, let me just guess again.
Yeah.
Is it feminine?
Absolutely right. So Feminine, yeah. So it's a Shav. If it's feminine, if you
Yes.
want to say, sorry, you said
One of these. One of these.
yeah, uma, because it's feminine. You
Yes.
said
Yes.
of course, and as I always say, the main thing is that you made yourself understood, right?
I did. Yeah.
Because no problem. I mean, it's not a problem if you say instead of uma, but we are here to teach you. I'm here
Yes.
to teach you.
Yes,
So that's
absolutely.
why I'm saying that instead of you
Yeah.
should say uma destas, or uma igual a esta, one like this.
Ah,
So
okay.
uma igual a esta, or uma destas, por favor. One
Uma
of these.
destas. Okay.
Uma destas, por
It's
favor.
come up as desish. Why desish and destish? Why would that be different?
There we go with isto and isso and aquilo.
Okay, all right. Oh,
Because if you have the key
yes.
on your hand, then you have the key near you and you say esta chave, this
Yes.
key, esta, feminine, again feminine. It's important to know if it's feminine. So esta chave. And so if you want to say one of these, you
Yes.
say uma destas. Uma destas, de, of,
Yes.
plus estas, plural, these keys.
Very
so
good.
one of these, uma destas.
Right.
Uma
So,
destas.
yeah, of course. It's like one of these rather than one of that.
One of
is what
these.
makes it sound
Yeah,
odd.
one of these. Yeah.
And I got my
Uma
key.
destas.
I didn't come out of the hardware store with a drain
Of
unblocker
course,
or a new
you
drill
made
or
yourself
anything like that.
understood. Very,
I did.
very well. Muito bem, Carlitos.
And thank you, muito obrigado. And it was so wonderful to stand inside an old-fashioned hardware shop where there are millions of things, and the gentleman in the shop knows exactly where to get you a screw that big in brass or whatever you want.
Yeah.
And it was so lovely, Filomena, to have him talk. He was multitasking and serving people. So before he finished with one person, he said to me, Diga, I think, or something like that.
Yeah.
And then I could hear him talking to other people in the shop. And it was lovely to know I could understand some of it. And he was saying to one, "Oh, Miguel, tudo bem?" And then when he started talking to his friend Miguel, he was, Miguelito. He was saying, Miguelito. And all this beautiful colloquialism and affection was coming that I could hear and understand and discern in the conversation. So Leroy Merlin, it's sometimes okay, because I was there yesterday as well.
Doesn't give you that experience, does it?
You don't get the experience, do you, of a true local community and the warmth. This man was so knowledgeable, so friendly, and so helpful.
And sometimes the prices in Leroy are higher as well.
Yes, yeah. I mean, you can look at things and touch them there, can't you? But you test your Portuguese when you go into a traditional hardware shop, and I love those shops, and long may they continue. So that's my question. Thank you very much for that. Over to James now for one. 3 words that translate to understand. Okay, comprendo, percebo, entendo. What's the difference and when to use which? Thank you very much, James, for that.
Yeah, well, I would say that the 3 words is understand. They mean understand, compreendo, percebo, entendo. I would say that I don't see a difference between these 3.
Okay.
It's compreendo, percebo,
So not a problem.
entendo.
Interchangeable, basically.
Yeah, I can say, imagine that someone asks you did you understand what I said? And you can say, sim, percebi, I understood, or
Yes.
compreendi, or entendi. Entendo is more, it's similar to Spanish, entiendo. So, sometimes we don't use it as much as the Spanish, in my opinion. We say usually compreendo or percebo, but entendo is also another option. Yes, but
I think percebo seems to be the most common of those, doesn't it? But they are
percebo,
interchangeable. But James needn't be concerned. Go with the easiest one, James. If in doubt, go.
Yeah,
with
percebo. Yes, you can say, do you understand? Percebe.
Yes.
Ou percebe o que estou a dizer? Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
Yeah. But you
Okay.
could also say compreende o que estou a dizer. Or,
Okay.
yeah, but
And you
percebe
will
probably
be
is the most common, yes.
very good, and you'll be experiencing the placebo effect. Haha, you're very welcome. Right, and the same with face. Again, rosto, cara, and face. What are the distinctions here that we should know about?
Well, in products, for example, face creams, that is rosto. So,
Okay.
creme de rosto.
But when I moisturize, okay.
So more, let's say, more technical. Cara, cara, for face. For example, you have something on your face. Tens alguma coisa na cara. Face. Face, I would say that it's not so commonly used. You can say dar a outra face to give the other cheek, but but face, a face. I don't think it's so commonly used. We usually say cara. For example, tens a cara suja to a child. You have your face is dirty. A tua cara está
And some
suja.
adults and some campers, it has to be
Some
said.
adults as well.
Yes, yes.
Or as I said, tens uma coisa na cara, you have something on your face, or you could also say aquela pessoa tem rosto bonito, a beautiful face. That
Very
person
nice.
has a beautiful rosto bonito.
I love that.
Yeah,
That's very nice. Rolls off the tongue very. Rosto bonito.
rosto bonito.
That's very nice. Okay, James, go with that one, please, because that sounds great. And we want to hear you saying that on Monday. Practice over the weekend. That's your homework. Rosto bonito. And so again, they're somewhat interchangeable, no hard and fast answers.
Unless, as I said, for more technical things, that is rosto. You don't say creme de face or creme de cara. You say creme de rosto.
Not something I've ever ordered in Portugal, but for the ladies, perhaps a little more important there. And men who moisturize.
Now with the sun, you have to be careful. It's for the men as well. It's important to put some face cream to protect your skin.
Oh, yes. Okay. Very good. Okay, there you go. Thank you, James, for those. Milen, who I thought was a native Portuguese speaker. However, having said that, even native Portuguese speakers do have the occasional confusion, don't they? As you can see on TV sometimes, there's vox pop quizzes. What is the right thing to say? Milen here, I'm always confused because of the pronouns in Portuguese as the X. Vos dizer and assim. Why one pronoun comes before the verb and the other after? Great question, Milen. Thank you very much indeed.
Easy answer. The first one is Brazilian. The second one is Portuguese from Portugal.
Okay, so generally speaking,
but there are, yes, I'm just joking, but vou-vos dizer, it should be vou dizer-vos, etc, etc.
okay.
Vou-vos dizer is more the Brazilian Portuguese way. Ensinar-te is the European Portuguese, but there are, perceber, yeah, se dar conta, yes, realize. Yes, Brazilian Portuguese, yeah.
Okay.
So, as I was saying about the pronouns, there are the usual place for the pronoun in Portuguese, these kind of pronouns, the personal pronouns, direct object or indirect object, they come after the verb.
Okay.
So that is the usual place, let's say. That there are also, it depends. There are also cases where the pronoun comes before the verb. And that is, for example, if you have a negative, for example, if you say, eu não te vejo há muito tempo. I don't see you for a long time. So, eu não te vejo há muito tempo, because it's a negative, or I never see you in the morning. Eu nunca te vejo de manhã. So that is a negative. If you have a question with a question word, how many, where, what, for example, a que horas te levantas? What time do you get up? A que horas te levantas? So you te, because I'm using the informal, of course.
Yeah.
If I speaking to someone that I, well, probably I wouldn't ask what time do you get up, but but
You're a doctor.
como é que se chama, for example, como se chama, you put the se before chama, because you have the word como as a question word. So in that case, you put the pronoun before the verb. And there are a series of words, já, também, ainda não. So there are some words that demand the pronoun to come before the verb. So, for example, you can say, eu já te vi na praia este ano. I have already seen you on the beach this year. So, eu já te vi instead of vi te, right? Te vi. The pronoun comes before the verb. Okay. Or ainda não te vi na praia este ano. I haven't seen you on the beach this year. So, not yet. So, ainda não te vi. But again, it's a negative there because you have the word now. But there are some words that demand the pronouns coming before the verb. But in the examples that Milene wrote, vou vos dizer, I know that some Portuguese... okay, let's say that Portuguese make a lot of mistakes in Portuguese as well, okay?
Yes,
and she might have heard that, vou vos dizer, but it's incorrect, grammatically incorrect, because it should be vou dizer-vos. Vou dizer-vos, but it happens. The Portuguese also make mistakes in Portuguese. So you might hear a few things that are wrong. Yeah.
It's comforting, and it also relates to something James was saying about when you're learning, it's not nice to feel confused. But I think that's also a kind of a condition we have to get used to, doesn't it? Here he is. Obviously, I don't like being confused, especially when I'm trying to learn. But it's a condition you have to get used to, isn't it? In a new country and learning a new language, that state of confusion.
Even the Portuguese get confused. So
perhaps take some comfort in that. James, continuing with this. Also, what is the distinction between sabe-me dizer and sabe dizer-me?
Again, this is sabe dizer-me. Sabe dizer-me. Because, as I said, some Portuguese make mistakes, and so sabe-me dizer, no, because it's dizer-me, tell me, not do you know me, to say, to tell, right? Yes. It's sabe-me dizer. If you translate that, it would be, do you know me to tell? But it's, do you know how to tell me? So sabe dizer-me. The me comes after dizer, because it's to do with telling me and not knowing me, isn't it?
Okay, all right. So
but some Portuguese might say that because they make mistakes with the language as well.
The Portuguese also make mistakes. They're not perfect. They are not perfect.
Everyone makes mistakes.
Oh, that's so comforting to hear this morning. If you are stressing out about it, Portuguese also make mistakes with their language. And the reason you didn't see him on the beach is because he was wrapped up in warm clothing and jackets, so you might not have recognized him. Hopefully that's changing as we speak, James. And Milene, very grateful to you. Thank you, Filomena. I'm going to find the list of words to check. The example of what to share came from a teacher in Portugal. Whoa! That's why I got confused.
Okay.
And good on you, Milene. So are you making a kind of transition then from Brazilian Portuguese to European Portuguese, Milene? I'm not entirely sure, but thank you for your questions this morning. Excellent stuff. And Capricorn Chris is also here. Olá, bom dia. Também, Acho, I'm not sure.
Também acho isso. Vamos lá.
Acho Brito, like the toothpaste, right?
I also...
Oh, that's
I
accurate.
also think that. I also think so. Let's
I don't know
go.
what he's talking about though. And
I don't know. I
Vamsla,
don't know.
that's a great
Maybe
phrase.
it's a conversation among themselves in the chat. I don't know.
I love that phrase though. Vamsla, let's go, isn't it?
Let's go.
Let's go
Vamos
there.
lá.
And I'd say this to my children, Vamsabura. I love to say that as well. Gathering them in the supermarket.
Yeah.
2 lords in the chat, Lord Antonio and Lord Travanca.
Hola,
Also
Barak.
now, good to see you. And never count to Christmas in days. That's old people talk. It's always sleeps. 165 sleeps. I say to a child, only 5 sleeps to the birthday person. But it's 6 days. Now you know. Thank you. And Portuguese language is not easy at all. And again, we can take some comfort in that.
It's not.
Yes. So it's a mistake. And my intuition was for the correct way. Yes, James. More comfort you can take for that. And Pete's here now. So we can show his bench. And then we'll do a few funnies, some dad jokes, lies we tell our kids, and look at some of those events. Thank you very much, Filomena, from James and from all of us.
James.
Don't go anywhere just yet, though, because we need to look at Peter's bench and his beautiful home in central Portugal, what he's been up to over there. Here's some stills of said bench and the outdoors that he's been not renovating exactly, but isn't that great work? Fantastic.
Lovely bench. Fantastic bench.
Sit and enjoy the view there. And look, it sits very nicely by the side of the pool there. And let's have a look and see what he's been up to.
Yes, I've been there, and I know it's a very nice place.
I haven't yet, but it's on the cards. Let's take it. Let's go for a bit of a nosy around Pete's place. Oh, I think we can talk over this.
Yeah.
There's no soundtrack on this one.
So
it's looking nice. That sail is ready, isn't it, for the intense summer heat? So you can.
Yes, it can be quite intense.
And it'll be like stepping into a soup at certain times of the year in that swimming pool as it reaches 30 degrees from the direct sunlight. But look at this. Very beautiful. Thank you, nice. Peter. And I can hear that night sky. You can actually hear that, can't you? The cicadas.
Yeah, and they have the storks nearby.
Oh, rustling in the trees. And his pheasant, he's got a pheasant, which makes the occasional crazy noise too. That's a lovely
and
place.
Now he has a lovely vegetable garden as well.
He does, doesn't he? We've also got this.
This is the bench that Nathan and me and his son, more like Nathan and his son, made, and it's awesome. And the pool now has a few more lights and like a big sail and stuff. It's really cool. But, we love it.
Now, let me just take that off the screen there, because I want to know, I'm going to ask you the question here, just how Portuguese is Pete becoming? He's got his grill by the pool. That's got to be 6 or 7 out of 10. How would you rate him? How Portuguese is Pete?
Let me tell you, that grill is Spanish.
Oh, no! Peter, that's a setback. It didn't get past the keen eye of Filomena this morning.
It didn't pass. No. He went to Spain to buy that.
It's got to go. And Peter, we're playing Spain on Sunday. You can't have a Spanish barbecue. You've got to get rid of that by Sunday. Right,
yes.
But he is doing pretty well out of 10, isn't he? Because he's got his job by the
yes.
Even though
but he's so close. He's so close to Spain that he goes to Spain quite often.
We can forgive him. All right.
Yeah. Yes. He's close to Spain. So.
Can we count on your support on Sunday, Filomena? Will you be supporting England?
Yes, of course. I mean,
well, you say of course. You say of course.
Portugal and Spain. We have had a few fights.
Yeah, but still, I was asking the dream team last night. Pedro Franco and Nuno Mendes, they're supporting Spain.
They are support. Well, okay, Iberian spirit.
Yeah, that's what they were saying, but I don't know if we can still be friends. Right, okay, let's have a look at Andy's events, and there might be some vocabulary in here for us, of course. Certainly cultural references. Sardines still being grilled around the country. It's a beautiful sight. And that'll be at Costa Nova, where you can see the wonderful candy-striped buildings near Aveiro there, between the lagoon and silver sands of the beach. Andy is describing that, and there'll be some great sardines to be eaten near Aveiro, freshly caught there. That's when was that? Hold on, we'll come back to Les in just a moment. That's from the 8th. Wow, 18, 19, 20, 20, a 4-day sardine festival. That sounds fantastic. I can smell it in my mind's nose. This is a great event. Always excellent, isn't it? Agada with the place of the umbrellas. There, fantastically cultural town is Agada. Do you like it there, Filomena? I've not
Yes,
seen.
yes,
Okay,
yes,
I've
yes.
not heard you
With the
mention that.
umbrellas, yes.
Yeah. Okay. We've also got the Mercado Medieval. That seems to be happening quite a lot across Portugal at the moment. Medieval festivals. Are they at a certain time of year normally? Because we've got the big Obidos
Yeah,
Fest.
they are. They are. I think they are usually a bit earlier, because with the summertime and the and the temperatures in the summer, it's a bit
Yes.
hard to wear a medieval
Oh my
costume.
goodness. Yes. Very good
It is a
thought.
bit hard.
Okay. So sword fighting, fire eating, belly dancing. Oh my goodness. You had
Well,
me at belly
for
dancing.
belly dancing is fine, right? The warm weather is fine for belly dancing.
No problem. And there'll be a few England fans belly dancing on Sunday as well. They any excuse to get their shirts off. Falconry as well. That's fantastic. That's in Anadia. And the Lagoa de Torres there. And I can't remember what VDB stands for. The Bairro, isn't it? Something. I don't know. Anadia anyway.
Yeah,
And these are all
Anadia.
on the Gumper map. They're all on the Gumper map. Please add your events to the Gumper map at the newly remixed Good Morning Portugal site, goodmorningportugal.com. This is Expo Bairrada at the Innovation Center of Vila Verde, Oliveira de Bairro.
Oliveira do Bairro, yeah.
I know what ODB is there. So a great show coming up there. There'll be music and food, of course. And finally, in Ancash, in Bairrada, here comes the event that blends rurality and contemporary nowness, I'm going to go with. The event that brings to the village of Ancas and the municipality of Anadia the music and dances of the world. So if you like a bit of world music and world dance, that is the event for you. And that's happening between the 5th and 14th. An absolutely brilliant festival there. I don't know what that's referring to. Is that a Portuguese story, do we think, there with the cockerel? A folk tale, perhaps? Or maybe a
I
dance
don't know.
involving a cockerel there.
And
Okay.
by the way, the word Ancash,
Yes.
besides being the name of the village, Ancash means hips.
It means your hips.
Anca
Well,
is a hip. Is your
okay,
hip.
as in hip hop and hip part of the body.
Anca is a hip.
Okay, very
Hip,
good to know.
hip,
They
yeah,
are
the
the
part of the
anchors
body.
of the
The hip.
skeleton, I guess.
But it's the name of the village, right? It's the name of
And
the village.
a village called Hips. That sounds good.
Hips.
Doesn't it? Yes. Okay. Hips don't lie over there in the Bairrada district. And just down the road from me this weekend, a very well hidden festival. Locals couldn't find anything about it on our San Martino de Porto group, but we have now. And this will be this weekend starting tonight. It's a great festival. It's another sardine festival here in Portugal, just up the road from San Martino de Porto. Stay with us. We're into the last minute or so.
And may I also mention the Expo Facic in Cantanhede?
You must.
Expo Facic in
Yes.
Cantanhede. It's the biggest expo in central Portugal for sure, and maybe in Portugal, where it's Expo Facic because it's Feira de Agricultura, Comércio e Indústria de Cantanhede. So I don't know if you have ever been there, but it's worth a visit. Yep. And it's a huge place. You can spend the whole day there. You have lots of things to eat and to drink.
And
you can buy a tractor, you can buy a car, you can buy a house, you can buy a wooden house.
Take your credit card.
You can buy a horse.
Yes.
So you can see lots of different things from the local commercial and industrial areas. So that is going on from the 25th of July, 25th, until the 4th of August. 25th of July to the 4th of August. The tickets cost just €4.50, and you have plenty of things to visit. You can check Expo Facic online and see the whole program. Then next month, I hope I'm going to meet Owen in Viana do Castelo. Viana do Castelo.
Very good. Okay, so
Because Viana do Castelo is celebrating Senhora da Agonia, Romaria da Senhora da Agonia, that is going on between the 14th of August and the 22nd of August. And it's a very traditional festivity, and lots of parades, lots and lots of parades with traditional costumes that are amazing, very, very beautiful, the traditional Viana do Castelo costume. And so you have plenty. If you like traditions, Portuguese traditions, and especially in the north, they are amazing. And so I recommend a visit to Viana do Castelo between the 14th and the 22nd of August.
Thank you very
That
much.
is just for you to start thinking of next month.
No, this is great because these are somewhat unusual places. If you want to see another side of Portugal, think about Cantanhede. There's the Portuguese soul is definitely there. Same in Viana do Castelo, but a slightly different take, slightly more unusual than you might be used to.
And it's near to Coimbra, so if you are near central Portugal, you know it's near to Coimbra, very close to Coimbra. So as I said, Cantanhede, yes, Cantanhede.
Yeah.
So it's worth a visit as well. You can have. And you have music concerts at night, of course, late, but you can have lots of different music. And of course, I'm going to watch my favorite, Chute e Pontapés. I'm going to be there, of course, on the 4th of August. 4th of August, there's the concert to finish. That's the best to finish the Expo Facic on the 4th of August, the concert of Chute e Pontapés,
the Rolling Stones of Portugal.
Our rock band.
Yeah. There you go. Brilliant. Thank you for mentioning those two. So we'll do the funnies now after we've had a little bit of feedback about Pete's gaff. Wow, beautiful view. Stunning, Pete from Deagle. Oh, and Capricorn Chris, I'm in Algarve. Always told learning Portuguese isn't easy. I always reply, it is if your life depends on it. That's a good way of looking at it.
Yes.
And Filomena, vais ter de voltar a aparecer. Hoje estão 31 graus, so 31 degrees. Este banco foi feito com... Look at his Portuguese doing well. Compostos de vegetação e uma tábua velha there. Thank you.
Amazing work with the bench. Yes, amazing work.
Sure, the banco, the bench. We'll be supporting England, says Pete. Muito bem, Filomena, with a few friends, so preparing for disappointment. Stop it, Peter. Come on, we've got this far. It might be coming home. Amazing. It's in warm weather. It's still February, though, isn't it? Yes, well said, James. You're coming around to my way of thinking. And so, Ancadeiros, would they be hipsters? That's brilliant. That's brilliant. Expo Facic there.
Yes, Cantanhede.
Thank you, teaching assistant Antonia. You've done a great job this morning. And if you want embarrassingly modestly priced cocktails and fantastic dancing, the Orca Festival is on from the 9th to the 12th of August as well. Pete will
Pete will serve the cocktails, I think.
He'll have developed that smile on his face that the Portuguese have when they give you a pão de ló. He'll have a smile on his face when he gives you a cocktail because he'll have mixed you up a special one there. Have to go. Okay, let's go back to the funnies. Thank you very much. Mindful moment, James. The secret of life is to waste time in ways that you like. Yes, Jerry Seinfeld. Thanks for sharing that, Stephen. Well, Stephen, we remember you. So, yeah, secret of life is wasting time in ways that you like. Have some fun doing that this weekend. Mindful dad joke. I'm playing that game where the floor is made of lava, so I obviously can't get out of bed or I'll die. If you're still stuck in bed, yes, careful, floor is lava. And I've not been aware of a correct side to walk on, only lots of starting and stopping and waiting and dodging. This is the pavements of
And meeting people, isn't it? Meeting other people.
Make new friends. So sorry we couldn't help you with that, Joan. Lies we tell our kids before we get to the dad jokes. The tooth fairy uses your teeth to make dentures for old people. Who said that?
My goodness.
That's awful, isn't it?
Oh, my goodness.
When you've got the dirty pacifier, it needs to go home and spend time with its mother. Let's give it here. And our house isn't haunted because we can't afford a ghost. There you go. And dad jokes. Brilliant to have these back, T-Duck. Thank you for being here this morning. Just because I talk down to you doesn't mean I'm condescending, you know. Very good. And the sun is going to burn out in 4 billion years. We better get on with it. And yet we all just sit here and act like everything is fine. What else are you going to do? And a minute varies depending on which side of the bathroom door you're on. That's relativity. So true. And a brilliant thought to ponder as we go into our Bom Fim de Semana. Muito obrigado, Filomena. Thank you so much for you and what you do for our community here today.
Divirtam-se. Divirtam-se. Have fun, because we are now in the season, the party season. And so, have fun. Divirtam-se.
Have fun.
E até ao próximo mês. Até ao próximo mês.
Fantastic. Because the sun is burning out. It's going to be burnt out in 4 billion years. Crack on and party, everybody. Take care. Bye for now. Thank you for the minute. Ciao, ciao.
Ciao.
Bom dia, Portugal! In Portugal, there's a YouTube show full of fun facts you need to know. Carl rings the bell and the members show to the GMP morning show. Featured guests will come and they will blow your mind. The audience will do so in kind. The little vanity mixed with some insanity on the morning show with GMP.
Good morning, Portugal, and I'd like to welcome you to another fantastic day.
Hey, Gumpers.